Alright, welcome back, guys. So today we are going to be talking about UFC 270, Francis Ngannou, the main event basically, Francis Ngannou versus Ciryl Gane. Um, well, we have had opportunities. Me and Yagi, we have had the opportunity. Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? We have Demola here as well. Demola, welcome to the show. Say what's up to the
Hello,
guys.
hello guys.
All
Guys,
right,
been live with you, Jibril, and Yagazi, right?
Yagi.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, Yagi.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. All
young
right,
and getting it, Yagi.
okay, okay. Anyway, so yeah, we started without you, but we haven't really started. I was just going to start talking about UFC 270, the main event that is Ciryl Gane versus the champion Francis Ngannou, the interim champion. It's a unification bout, and we have had time to digest because I did an instant reaction of the video of the fight, and there were some things that I said that I was a bit passionate that it came out, and I'm pretty sure you guys as well have gotten to digest and see the reaction coming out of the show and have maybe some changes in your initial thoughts or whatever. So quickly, I would go to Demola. Demola, can you please explain to me, just give me a brief explanation of how round one to round five went?
Okay, so
So
that's
wait,
the
wait.
main event.
Before we start, I'm just gonna say, just imagine that I did not watch the fight, or the people that are watching this show have not watched the fight. Explain to them what happened in round one and round five, and do that briefly, please. Thank you.
Okay, so I actually cannot imagine that a UFC lover like yourself did not want to match. But jokes aside, starting from round one, round one was quite close. Francis came in, trying to measure the distance, trying to get his pace right with Ciryl Gane, and they were basically gauging each other in round one, and then Ciryl was trying to maintain distance. He was doing a lot of distance management. Then he was actually dominant, in terms of the strikes. In terms of the significant strikes, he was dominant. He was, basically gauging Francis with his jabs, with some kicks as well, and then he made some spinning elbows and a spinning fists in the round one. Then scoring it, I actually gave round one to Ciryl Gane. Then round two as well, it became more heated, and then Ciryl was was actually trying to fight in the pockets, but then Francis was actually very calculated in throughout the fight, and then in round two. So for me, I scored round one to Ciryl Gane, but then round two was more of a coin flip. You could say Ciryl Gane won round two. You could also, make an argument, make a case for Francis Ngannou. Then, in round three, Francis, adopted a wrestling heavy approach. So he was shooting for the takedowns in round three, and then he was quite dominant on the ground. They had some grappling exchanges in round three, and Francis, had a lot of he had more of the ground control time. At some point, was it in round three, either round three or round four? I can't remember exactly now. Ciryl Gane attempted a heel hook. That actually testifies to how solid Ciryl Gane's ground game is. He's very dangerous off his back. And then round four as well, Francis maintained that wrestling heavy approach. He was able to take the fight to the ground as well in round four and round five as well. So rounds three, rounds four, round five, they were clearly rounds in favor of Francis Ngannou. And in round five, Francis Ngannou actually showed that you've always had questions about Francis's gas tank, but he was able able to pace himself and not gas himself out in round five, and he was able to maintain top control in the grappling exchanges. At some point in round five, Ciryl took Francis to the ground, but you would remember the grappling exchanges and then the reversal that Francis had in round five. So basically, rounds three, four, and five um, unequivocally go to Francis Ngannou. Then rounds one and two to Ciryl Gane. That's it from me.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you so much for explaining. And well, there are some parts that I would say that I would not agree with you. Well, that's my own
Okay, what
opinion,
are those
anyways.
parts? Let's
So,
see. Let's see.
so the parts where um the round two in round you stated that in the round two that it was more of a coin flip, and honestly I think round two was unanimously or was overt for Ciryl Gane because Ngannou
Ciryl Gane, right?
couldn't get anything. That's my opinion, no. And we noticed that the scorecards in the end was 48-47, 48-47, and there was one 49-46 for Ngannou. I think maybe one of the judges gave the first round to Ngannou, right? I don't think any judge would have given him the second round, but maybe Yagi has a different opinion about that. Yagi, how did you see the scoring, and how did you score the fight, basically?
I scored it 48-47 Ghana. I thought Cyril won the first round. I thought round two was way more dominant. I thought Cyril won the first round with he's able to clinch control
Mm.
because Cyril was able to maintain distance but also force Ngannou to grapple. And I thought Ngannou was dead tired after round two. But all of a sudden, he switched the game plan.
Mm.
And I think that confused Ciryl Gane because I think Ciryl Gane's game plan was try to force Francis to wrestle early and then strike with him in the later rounds because Francis should be more tired. But Francis switched it up with him and wrestled later. And Cyril is normally not a wrestler or a grappler, so that was a complete shift to him and kind of exposed him a little bit. So I thought it was 3 rounds to Francis, and like Demola said, round three, four, five, Francis, round one and two, Cyril. Now, if any round was to be given to Francis, to any extra rounds given to Francis, probably round one. But I thought 3 rounds to two was good for Francis.
Okay. Well, I agree with you as well. I agree with most of what Demola was saying. Demola, you just moved out of the frame. Okay, there you are. I thought we lost you for a second. So there is also the fact that Ngannou was literally fighting like against all odds. That's the caption of this video, right? Against all odds. The odds of him fighting against UFC brass because of his contract agreement. The fact that he was fighting against UFC media as well. The media team, they were not favoring him at all. The fact that he was fighting against the French media or the European press of sports as well, they were not with him at all. If you watch the post-fight presser, you would see some questions that were so absurd. You understand that they asked in French. After being translated, you would wonder why would they ask this type of questions. And then lastly, I would say like we saw Francis with some buckled knees. Basically, apparently after the fight, we got to know that he tore his ACL. What did they call him? ACL and
MCL, PCL.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so with that being said, how impressed are you about Ngannou's heart? Yagi, you can go first. How impressed are you with his heart about the in this performance?
I was very impressed because the amount of pressure on Francis was ridiculous. Everybody in the UFC wanted him to lose. The fact that Dana didn't wrap the belt around him and didn't show up to the presser told me that the UFC brass was whooping on Ciryl Gane to win. And now, not only that, he was also fighting against his former teammate, his former coach, who's also from the same country as him.
Mm,
So, and then he now came in injured. But I wasn't surprised because I don't know if you've been able to watch Francis Ngannou's interview with Joe Rogan. He
mm-hmm,
detailed his story,
mm-hmm,
leaving Africa, leaving Cameroon, and all making it all the way to France. So once I heard that, it kind of gave me an idea of who Francis Ngannou is. He's one of these very strong-minded people that regardless if they set their mind on something, they will always pursue it. So I was very, very impressed. The wrestling, the cardio really impressed me. And you could tell he was visibly tired after the second round, but he was able to dig into his mind to give him that extra reserve to win. So I'm very, very impressed. I'm happy that he was able to win. Now he can get what he wants.
Well, I'm just gonna segue here and say that Demola in our clubhouse, in your clubhouse video, clubhouse studio, or what do they call it?
Podcast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In our
So
podcast.
yeah, yeah. So a couple of hours before the main event, you did mention that what if Francis Ngannou wrestles? And I will tell you that I came out and I was like, no, there's no chance Francis Ngannou is wrestling. I
I said the
literally
same
said
thing. I
so.
told y'all.
Yeah, and then I was like, after the fight, in my in my instant reaction, I did say that Demola would be like, I told you so, I told you so. So you here's your chance. You can tell me I told you so.
Okay, so I actually love and hate to say the fact that I told you all this. So I was talking about this. Ciryl Gane is actually an accomplished kickboxer, right? And then we understand the fact that his strength is, striking, basically, fighting at a distance, when it comes to distance management, when it comes to fighting with significant strikes, with the jabs, with, the various ranges of the striking tools, Ciryl Gane clearly has advantage in that, right? And then I said something on our clubhouse and podcast. You would agree with me that fight IQ, fight IQ is actually very important when fighting a smart fight. Your fight IQ and your game plan are actually very important when you are actually fighting a very important fight, right? So for me, the smart thing to have done for Francis Ngannou to have a pathway to victory was to actually capitalize on Ciryl Gane's weaknesses, and that is adopting a wrestling heavy approach. You'd agree with me that Francis Ngannou had the goat, the welterweight goat, the Nigerian Kamaru Usman in his corner. Then Kamaru Usman is an accomplished wrestler. He's an NCAA wrestler, and then he's got a really fantastic team, a fantastic
Team Couture.
then they would have actually come up with this smart game plan, take him to the ground, dominate him. You might even get a 10-8 round. And then, that's a smart way to, to defeat a person like Ciryl Gane. So for me, it was a no-brainer. And then I was expecting Francis to do what he had not done before. And then he came out and he made me proud.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. All right.
Thank you guys for supporting the African fighters. Please click on the subscribe button so that you'll be informed whenever I post a video.